All right. Hopefully, we are live. Good morning, Sync Academy members. I am outside today. I'm just enjoying this nice warm weather. Felt like a really long winter to me, so I'm trying to enjoy as much of the sunshine as I possibly can. Don't have a lot of music I'm going to be working on today. Mostly going to be working on more email stuff, business stuff. So I'm going to try to just enjoy a little bit of fresh air, a little bit of vitamin D. Anyways, but you guys hopefully are busy today producing music and working because usually you should get most of your work done, especially if you have a full-time job. Saturdays and Sundays, I remember when I first got started in this business, my Saturdays and Sundays were my sort of golden times that I got all my work done. So hopefully you guys are able to do that as well. Just a couple of quick announcements, and then I'm going to stick around for a few minutes just to see if you guys have any questions or you just want to kind of share your experiences with Sync 60. I know this last week with the syndicate opening up, we kind of got a little bit distracted from that. We didn't talk so much about it, but I want to make sure that, I haven't forgotten about it, and I hope you guys haven't either. But a little update on the syndicate situation. We have reached all 40 applicants that I've accepted, and all 40 have actually gotten into the group. So we're done. The application process is closed now. Thanks to all of you that did apply. If you did not get accepted, I did not send a letter to everybody who did not get, or anybody that did not get accepted. I only sent acceptance emails. I got a lot of applications. And all I can tell you guys is that if I didn't accept you, I just didn't feel like you were ready for it. I felt like maybe your expectations were not exactly where I wanted them to be, where I felt like it would be a mismatch between the services that I offer and what you're looking out of it. Or I just felt like it just wasn't going to be a good fit for you at this time. Okay, so all I can say is we will open this up again in the future. I can't give you a specific date. It really just depends on how the numbers look. Again, I keep the numbers minimal because I cannot allow thousands of producers to come into this thing. I can't manage that much in terms of giving feedback and opportunities and just all the stuff that I do for the syndicate. Okay, so but thank you those of you that have joined. I'm really happy to have you guys on board. I know we have a couple of opportunities going on now, and again, if you have any questions about that, you need to go into the syndicate group and ask there. Do not post that kind of stuff here in the Sync Academy area. All that stuff needs to stay confidential and in that group. So welcome to those of you, and thanks to everybody who did apply to that. So that was really cool to see so much interest in that. So I'm excited to see the new bunch of syndicate members that came on board, and I hope to see some great things. So another thing I want to talk about is asking questions or basically trying to get some information out of Sync Academy. I don't know if you guys are aware, we have a lot of members here in Sync Academy. I think it's like 400 or 500 members. There's a lot of members here. And if you can imagine, I get a lot of private messages. Every day I wake up and there's dozens of these private messages being shouted at me. What I want to encourage you guys to do is to stop doing that. Stop sending me direct messages because most of the questions you guys ask are really great questions. The first problem that I have is I can't keep up with all of them. Not only do I have those messages, but I have email messages, I have Facebook messages, Twitter stuff. So I just have a lot of stuff coming at me. And so for me, I usually like to handle things in a systematic way. And the one thing that I want to encourage you guys to start doing is if you have a question about the Sync licensing business, about Sync Academy, whatever it is, before you go and message me privately, first thing I want you guys to do is post it in a public question here in Sync Academy. Why? First of all, I do answer a lot of questions, and most of the questions that get answered or that get asked by you guys. And I know sometimes I'm a little bit slow to that because I have other things going on, but I'm going to try to be really good about that, that when you guys do post these questions that are really relevant, a lot of times they're repeat questions, so I get a little bit exhausted repeating the same thing. But I understand people are new to the business, and so they're going to have these common questions. So I have to just be aware of that, and that's okay. But not only will you get my answers from it, but you'll also get answers from other people in Sync Academy. And there are other people, your peers, that are very serious producers in this business that are not only doing it part-time, but are also doing it full-time. So not only could you get my answer and my explanation for something about this business, but you can also get other perspectives. And we need to start encouraging that in this academy. And the way to do that is by publicly posting your questions so that everybody can benefit from the answer. Because if you just private message me or just send me an email, well, you'll get the answer and that's great. but it's really beneficial for all of us, because as much as you would like to be, as much as it benefits you to get the answer, it benefits everybody when we all have access to the answers, right? And we all have access to different perspectives. So I learned just as much from this stuff as you guys do. So if we can kind of be more, become more of a team in that way. So basically that when you have a question, please post it in the public post as a public thing. You can actually post it as a question for people to answer, or just literally just post it and ask people to comment underneath. However you want to do it, it's fine. That's the best way to do that. So do that first. If you're not getting the answer that you're looking for, you're still kind of confused, then your next move would be to email me. Not private message me. Don't do that. Please email me. The reason why I like email is it's so much more organized, especially with Gmail. What I love about Gmail is that if I get, you guys got to realize I get probably 50 to 100 emails a day, if not more. And I usually try to go through all of them every single day. I try not to let anything expire after 24 hours. But sometimes things do. I'm human and things slip up. But what's great with Gmail is that I get these automatic notifications that say, hey, you got this email 3 days ago. Did you want to reply to it? And I love that, because if something did slip through the cracks and I didn't see it, it reminds me. And it says, hey, don't let this thing go for too long. So that is the second way that I would say reach out to me if you have any questions about anything, basically in the sync licensing business or the academy or the tutorials or anything like that. So I just want to make that quick announcement. Let's try to be a little bit more team oriented and post our questions publicly so we can all benefit from the answers, okay? And lastly, I see we got about 3 of you guys watching now. Carl, good morning, man. Want to see how Sync 60 is going. I know that, again, this last week we got a little bit distracted with other things going on, but I want to make sure you guys are staying on top of it. We have had fewer and fewer, as every week has gone on, we've had fewer and fewer members marking that little yes box that they accomplished their weekly goals, which now you guys are seeing. It's not easy to come up with a goal, plan it out, and actually that's the easy part, is coming up with a goal and planning it out. The hard part, as you guys are seeing, is consistently showing up every single week and marking that yes column that you actually did it, right? So want to kind of pick your guys' brains as to why that's happening. Why is it just maybe some of you are forgetting to log in, and click that little box? That could be obviously part of it, of why that's happening. It could be that some of you are just kind of dropping out of the challenge, just not really doing it anymore. Something got in the way, other life experiences. If that's happening, if you're literally just not doing the work anymore, not keeping up with your goals, at the very least, what I want you guys to be aware of is just become aware of that and be just let that become something that you think about now, that there are things that get in your way. There are going to be things that become distractions. There are sort of obstacles that obviously come up. And if you don't start dealing with those now, you don't kind of really analyze that and figure out, well, what was it that really kind of knocked me off my course? Was it that I didn't plan enough time, distraction-free studio time? Was it that I didn't ask for enough help from my, maybe family members? Was it that I just don't have a good workflow, so when I start a track, I really don't know how to finish it? There could be a million different things as to why that didn't work out for you. But I want you to start thinking about that and becoming aware of what those issues are. Because you're going to have to get over those. You're going to have to conquer those. You're going to have to move past those obstacles. If you don't move past those obstacles and you can't get through a 60-day challenge, how are you going to turn this into a full-time job, right? How are you going to be able to do this year after year after year, which is what it's going to take if you're going to build this to a full-time gig. So if Sync 60 taught you nothing other than to become aware of your personal obstacles and what's getting in your way, great. Then it was totally worth the time, and it's not a failure for you at all, okay? The only way that Sync 60, I think, would have been a failure for some of you if you just didn't even go for it. You didn't even try. You're not even doing it. If you're not putting in any work, you're not going to learn anything. So I hope you guys are at least working, putting some time in. Hopefully this weekend you're also doing that. So yeah, Michael, definitely outside. Loving this springtime weather, man. We had a long winter, it felt like, here in California. You think Southern California, it's always supposed to be 80 degrees. It was cold here. So anyways, I'm loving it. And I'm not like in the LA, area or whatever. I'm in San Bernardino area, so it's like not as perfect over here in weather-wise, but loving it today. So that's why I'm outdoors, and I don't necessarily have a lot of music I'm working on this weekend. So I'll hang for a couple minutes, guys. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that. But yeah, please keep up with us with the Sync 60 thing. Please, mark your columns. If you're one of the few that do mark yeses all the way through, even if you don't mark them all the way through, but at the very last one where you're able to actually accomplish that Sync 60 goal, I want to chat with some of you guys. I want to do kind of a Google chat like this, but you guys would actually be there with me on, webcam and with your audio and stuff. And I want to talk to you guys. I want to find out your story. I want to find out, what was it like for you? For me as an educator, as a mentor, I would like to get that information as far as like what Sync 60 did for you, how it might have changed your perspective. But I also want to just hear it from you, exactly how you felt through this process and what you learned from this whole experience and what you're going to do moving forward that maybe you never did before, right? So maybe you're going to change some of your behavior and your production methods or planning methods moving forward in this business. So I kind of want to get it from you guys directly, find out how it worked for you. And if you're comfortable with it, I'll obviously ask you guys, but I want to show you guys off too. Like I want to put you out there, maybe feature you on my YouTube channel and really talk about who you are and where you come from in your career and what you're doing now and how Sync 60 really sort of put you on maybe a better path or a more productive path moving forward. So I kind of want to show you guys off. So if you guys want to, of course, totally optional. I don't want to put anybody in an uncomfortable position. But yeah, I'd like to talk to some of you guys and kind of get to know a little bit more about your stories. Steve's still on point for my Sync 60 and working on my 15s tune. All right, man. You're working hard. That's good to know. So it looks like we got 6 of you guys now watching. Let me see how many people actually saw the post. I know I didn't have like a long sort of heads up about this one. I gave you guys about 15 minutes or so. So sometimes I can give a little bit more. But yeah, I just wanted kind of to see who my early birds were. And then we have about 24 of you guys online right now. So yeah, it looks like enough of you guys have seen it so far. So. I just think if there was anything else. Nope, those were the big announcements that I had for you guys. So if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat or comments or anything. Daryl, Sync 60 has helped me focus on my goals even though I've gotten distracted. Good. So that's the key for you, Daryl, is you've gotten distracted. That's the key right there. What has gotten you distracted? Are these distractions that you can minimize? Like, I'm not saying that you can minimize every single one, because if it's like family obligations or responsibilities, got to be responsible. You got to do what you got to do, right? So, but if there's something you can do, to minimize those or to ask for help, somebody in your life, family member, somebody that can kind of pinch hit for you, right? Take care of some things that you normally do for just a couple of hours to give you less distraction, right? Maybe that could be something you work on moving forward. So that is what I want you guys to be thinking about. What are those things that are pushing you off your game and making other things more important? Because, a big part of doing this full time is you have to make this literally pretty much the most important thing in your life, right? Because it's not easy. It's not, especially if you're going to try to do this full time. If this seems to be something you want to do full time, it's got to be your full time focus in a way, right? I know it can't take full time. It won't take actually literally your full time, because you're going to have your job and other things you got to do. But in terms of what you're thinking about, how you're strategizing, what you're planning for your week, it really needs to be at the top of your list. Like, it's got to be way up here in terms of what you really want to get accomplished. So if there's things that you can do moving forward to help yourself do that and allow others to help you accomplish that, to make that a priority, then start thinking about that now, because you're going to have to do this if you want to make this your full-time gig. So need to find some better trumpets. Yeah. Definitely check out some new samples. If you literally just go to Google search or even YouTube search and just type in realistic horn samples, you're going to find a lot of stuff these days. It's kind of crazy how many awesome, literally for anything you want to learn or you want to find, realistic drum samples, realistic guitar samples. And obviously listen to them, preview them, and make sure that you're like, hey, this is really good stuff. Like, these sound really alive. Preview everything you're going to do. And of course, read the end user license agreement, make sure there is one on the website you're going to purchase it from, and make sure that it says it's a commercially available to use. Some of them will actually even give you the specific permission of TV, film, music libraries. It'll say you're cool for that. As long as it gives you the sort of general, these are available to use commercially, royalty free, you don't have to pay anybody royalties, you're going to be good on that. Corey, which of the recommended sound packs have good sounds for build-ups and transitions? I personally go to splice.com for all of my transitions and build-ups. You can just go get an account with them. It's I think they still have $8 a month. The cheapest one they have, you get 100 samples a month. 100 samples is a lot of actual samples, especially because it's like a la carte. You just download what you need. So I used to have a sound effects pack that I included with my master course, but too many members were using the same sounds for my licensing opportunities, and I didn't want every track to have the same transition that we sent to our licensing partners. So I discontinued that at the end of, I think, 2017. I only did that for about a year, and then I stopped offering that. So for now, you definitely need to go find your own. I'll tell you, Splice.com has lots of great sounds, orchestral, EDM, rock, you name it, and it's growing every single month. Splice is still one of my go-to places for sure. All right, Michael Kelly, you started your own Sync 60, actually 150. Okay. You folded like a Walmart lawn chair. I've regrouped since December when I joined Sync Academy. Syndicate has been a big hype. Cool, man. Okay. You know, that's what part of this is that you have to learn. You know, another member, I just actually recorded a YouTube video about this. I'll release it probably next week. How he was saying that, you know, he listened back to the music he created for a Sync 60 challenge, and he was like, man, this sucks. Like, this is not really good music. And he was bummed about it, and I understand that. But you got to realize, too, that, like, being able to recognize your weakness is actually a great sign. It means your ears are evolving, that your standards for yourself are evolving. So for you, Michael, that, you know, yeah, you noticed a big sort of a flaw that you had in your approach before. But the fact that you see that flaw, it puts you ahead of 95% of all producers out there. Most producers and musicians are not even aware that they have problems. They have no idea that they're doing something wrong. They just think that, well, I just got to keep doing it and hopefully I'll get discovered, right? They have this sort of lotto mentality. And you guys don't have that anymore, hopefully. I hope you guys have learned something from Sync Academy and maybe my YouTube videos, that, you know, having that hoping and waiting and that really passive, almost kind of a victim, like I hope somebody just kind of does the work for me, that mentality, it really is powerless. It's not going to do anything for you. So taking more proactive measures and changing and being aware. They're like, hey, the thing that I was doing before doesn't work. Let me try something different, right? Now that means that everything you do is going to work better, but at least you're not doing the same thing that wasn't giving you the results, right? If you weren't getting results, got to try something else. So. Carl, any quick insight into getting Native Instruments Studio Drummer individual drum tracks into separate tracks in Logic? I haven't used that, Carl, so I actually couldn't tell you. I personally, for my drums, I've been using Steven Slate drums. It's a plugin that you can get in through Kontakt, the Kontakt 5 player. I've been using that for years. I'm sure there are other great ones. It's kind of one of those things, once you find something you love, you really don't want to let go of it. I just don't want to let go of it, so I'm just still using Steven Slate drums. I recommend it for you guys. And what I'll do is I'll stack up like a kick, a snare, hi-hats. Actually, I'll have a whole track that's hi-hats, cymbals, ride, all the cymbals basically are on one, and then toms are their own track. And usually when I'm printing out my stems, they will actually be separated that way. So kick, snare, cymbals, and toms, just 4, right? If I have, you know, percussion like a tambourine or not a metronome, tambourine or shakers, stuff like that, I'll usually have a separate track for percussion as well. But awesome. Oh, Asif, good to get my feedback. Yeah, for those of you that are wondering, I do only offer feedback to Syndicate members. So if you guys are confused, like, you know, I don't offer everybody feedback. That is one of those premium services that I do only offer Syndicate members. But I think most of you guys are aware of that if you guys watched the video about the Syndicate from last week. Keep them coming, guys. Good questions. Glad you guys are working. Keep reaching for this coffee mug. There's literally a drop in there. That's it. I'll have to make some more. And if I don't see anything for a few minutes, I'll probably just log off here. So. And the next video, which is the last. Are we on the last one? Wow. That's crazy. Even I'm blown away how quick the Sync 60 thing went. Because we just did the 7th one, right? So Monday, yeah. Monday is the 8th one. The 7th video, if you guys didn't watch it, why most producers give up. Yeah, it's a little bit, it's honest. It's very honest. I'm going to just tell you guys that if you haven't watched it. I hope it doesn't bum you guys out. But it is very honest in terms of really what it takes to succeed in this business. I had Trevor join me for that one. It was a really, really good chat that we had. He really talked about some of the things that he saw, some of his personal feelings for why he was thinking about giving up early on in his career and in various parts throughout his career, and also the more common things that he saw with a lot of the people that he's seen come and go. And we pretty much have the same stories that we've seen so many people light off like a firecracker getting into this business. They get so excited and then they burn out. 6 months, a year into it, they're gone. And then a lot of them see these royalties come down 9, 12 months later. By that point, they might not have time to do this anymore. They might not be interested. It's just one of those things where it's some of them jump right back into it and they're like, okay, now I'm serious. Now I see the results. But it's like, man, you wasted a whole year not producing music. You would have been much further along in your career if you just had that faith and just kept with it. So we do talk about some of that just real, this is what it is. It's just like a real conversation about what it really takes to kind of get through that moment of doubt and those moment. I mean, it's a long period. It's like an era of doubt essentially you're going through in the beginning of this business. But I want you guys to be fully prepared, fully aware of that, so you guys really know what you're getting yourselves into. But even though that was a little bit of a, not the most positive video, the one on Monday, the 8th, is all about success, right? And I talk about, and Trevor joins me for that one again, and we both talk about what it really feels like to be on the other side, right? After we've gone through the sort of valley of shadow of doubt, where we're just completely always, where we were always like, is it going to work? Is it not? And, you get disappointing royalty checks and then you get excited and it's just this roller coaster. But then there comes a point where it starts to stabilize. You start to see that consistent growth and you get that confidence of like, yeah, it's actually working. This is really great. So I want to end the whole Sync 60 challenge on a really positive note that like, yeah, once you get to the other side, it is the fruit of honey and milk. I mean, it is literally everything that you probably have been dreaming about plus more. The gratitude, the feeling of accomplishment, the satisfaction of being like a master of your craft and successfully calling yourself a professional music producer, somebody who makes their living from music. I mean, it's so rare, just what that really feels like. And I hope you guys take that as motivation and just sort of like a last minute kind of kick forward as you move forward past Sync 60 and into your own, maybe if you want to create new Sync 60 challenges. And as long as I think, we get enough interaction and enough of those yes columns for how many of you actually completed the whole thing, we'll do this again. Like, we don't have to, obviously, it's not going to be a one and done situation. I want to make sure a lot of you guys actually do, get something out of this and actually accomplish some sort of a goal for yourself. But we'll definitely do this again in Sync 60, and so we can actually do these kind of weekly check-ins with each other, do a new progress chart, and you guys can basically plug and play wherever you are at that point. I don't know how soon we'll do it. We'll kind of keep that up in the air and we'll see what happens. But as long as you guys are finding it valuable and actually pushing yourself to get results, that's all I want to do. I just want to see you guys get results, right? I don't want to structure too much stuff with Sync Academy where it's just getting you guys distracted from doing work, right? Just hyping you up on a bunch of stuff like, oh, you can do it, rah, 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 and getting you all excited, where you start getting addicted to motivational videos, which is a real common problem with producers and musicians. It's not doing you guys any favors, okay? I do want to motivate you. I want to inspire you, but more importantly, I want to structure things that are get you to do work, that actually push you away from these videos, very consistently, and just get you in your studio making tracks. I hope these are actually doing that, and I hope you guys have that discipline to know, like, don't overdose on just tutorials and videos and that kind of stuff, but spend a lot of time just building up your own skills with your own work. So anyways, guys, I don't see any more questions coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Those of you, I think we got 10 of you guys now that did make it for this. I appreciate that. The replay will be available, so anybody who wants to watch this afterwards will absolutely be able to do that. And I wish you guys a great weekend. Hope you guys get a lot of great stuff done, and we'll catch you soon. Monday, Sync 60 Week 8 is dropping. We're almost done, so I can't wait to see how you guys do. Basically, I would say May 1st is really the official end of Sync 60. So basically, I know that it's it's a week and plus a couple of days before the official end of it. So you basically have a little bit of catch-up time if you need to catch up on some of your goals. So can't wait to see that. We'll do a check-in on May 1st and kind of see where you guys are on that. See how many of you actually were able to mark yes on that final column. And again, if you were able to do that and you're interested in having a little Google chat, we can kind of have a group chat for those of you that actually get to the very end of it. I'd love to do that, and I hope to get to know some of you a little bit more through that process, so I can't wait to see it.